Hello again, I am Christiana Ellis, and this is 5 more minutes for January 10th, 2015. It is about 7:50 a.m. You may notice it is lighter outside in the background. Um, I did just get up. I slept in a little bit because I was out late last night. And that's what I'm going to talk about a little bit. My evening last night was pretty fun. Uh, I haven't really talked about it much on the show here, but I am taking improv classes right now and enjoying them quite a bit. I'm now in Improv 301, but part of what last night was is that a whole bunch of us from the class, part of our homework, so to speak, for these improv classes is that we have to go to at least 2 shows during every 8-week class session. And so last night we had all heard about one particular show called Red Alert, and it sounded like so much fun, so we all decided to go. Basically what Red Alert is, uh, it's sci-fi based improv, but it's like about an hour and a half show with an intermission in the middle. Now imagine a Star Trek type show, but it's 100% improvised. And there are 2 buttons that they place in the audience. And at any point, so they'll just come out and they'll start doing something. In the case of last night, it was they said, "Oh, we're going to a starbase to pick up a supply of puppies to transport to another planet," and they were really excited about the puppies. And so that was just to start, though. And so at any point, someone in the audience can go up and press one of these big red buttons, and it's Red Alert. And so the klaxons would sound, and then the lights would flash red, and then then the people on stage who are, in positions like you might find on a typical Star Trek show, have to say, "Oh no, red alert, what is it? What is it?" And then they have to decide what the red alert is and deal with it. And that can happen at any time. I mean, people can keep going up, red alert, red alert, red alert, and they're trying to build a story with this, because unlike a lot of improv shows where it's multiple scenes, this one is all one scene for the whole duration of the show, and they're continuing it. And it's kind of like a Star Trek two-parter where they're dealing with some big issue, but then there's all these little things that keep happening all along the way. And so in the show last night, what they started getting into is like, oh, it was a temporal distortion field caused by time-eating aliens that was causing the crew to either age or regress in age at random, and that obviously caused them problems. But then they discovered, oh, well, they can make these little time stabilization bracelets that they could wear to mitigate the effect, but the problem is they can only be made by someone with small enough fingers, like little children, and so they had to exploit the crew that had turned into children to make these bracelets for everybody. And then they felt really bad about it, and so eventually, in order to recover from that guilt, they did a thing that sent them all back in time, and they had to send a message to themselves to let them know not to do that. And so what this description is not going to convey is that the whole thing is very funny, and that what I enjoy about going to these improv shows and doing improv myself is just that there's a feeling to it, sort of an ephemeral excitement of knowing that, like, all of this is happening right now. There's an immediacy and an intimacy to it that I really like. Oh, gosh, I'm coming up on 5 minutes already. The other thing that we did last night was go to a restaurant called Veggie Galaxy, which is an all-vegetarian restaurant that still does things like hamburgers and stuff, veggie hamburgers. And I had a baked mac and cheese that was excellent. So I'm Christiana Ellis. You can find everything I do at christianaellis.com. I am at Christiana Ellis on Twitter, and I'll see you tomorrow for 5 more minutes.